Hello everyone. It has been more than a month since the Iran and Israel war has happened. Now, the war has created a lot of tension. It has crashed the global economy, and the countries all over the nation are very much disturbed. We have seen the media circulating the news about this and the images being circulated. It's all very disturbing to see, and how from both the nations the civilians are getting affected. From Feb 28 onwards till now, there has still not yet been a clarity on this, and everyone is so disturbed with the crashing of the economy and everything, that people are like awaiting for a proper solution for this. So I was inquisitive myself to know more about this, and meanwhile, good morning, my name is Shreya and welcome to Balcony Talks. And today it's a lovely morning. I can show you the weather. Today is quite pleasant. The sky is blue and the birds are chirping, and yes, there are beautiful trees and it's all greenery over here. But obviously, it's not the case across the world, and I hope and pray that everything settles soon and there be peace. But okay, let's come back here. So I thought as I said, I was inquisitive myself to know more about the history of Iran and Israel, and what was the circumstances that led to the war of what we see today, right? So for any war to happen, there is always a history associated with it, and to know the history, I did my own little bit of research to understand this, why and how did this happen. So let's break this into parts, and we'll go by video. So first, let's talk about Iran. Now, Iran was initially known as Persia. Now, Persia was a country which was initially dominated by an oldest civilization called as Elamite civilization. The Elamite civilization is one of the oldest civilizations where they had their own unique culture and religion, and so that was the starting point of what we know about the earlier Iran, which was initially known as Persia. Then came the Aryans from Central Asia, who had invaded, who had moved to this region. Now followed by the Achaemenid Empire, which was ruled by Cyrus, the Parthian Empire, the Sassanian Empire, which was the last Persian Empire, and the 7th century came the Islam. The Arabs invaded, defeated the Sassanian Empire and established themselves over there. Now with the Islam, again in Islam there were many dynasties who had ruled. What were the two popular one that we know is the Safavid Empire, who established the Shia Muslims as a religion in the Iran. That is, Shia Muslims became dominated in the Iran because of the Safavid Empire. And then the last dynasty, what we know of the Islamic Qajar dynasty. The Qajar dynasty was again overthrown by an army officer named Reza Shah Pahlavi. So that was a very transition moment period of from the Qajar dynasty to Pahlavi, because we were moving. Iran was progressing was revolutionizing itself to a modernization path, where an army officer was coming into force, who was modernizing the entire structure of the country. Now he assumed the throne and started the Pahlavi dynasty. Pahlavi is a Persian name because he wanted to keep the Persian ancestry alive and the Persian culture alive. So he kept the Pahlavi name and started the Pahlavi dynasty. Now Shah was someone who was a very close ally to the German, which is the Nazi, and he had a close tie with Hitler as well. So now the British fear that if Shah would ally with the German, it is not very good, because of course of the World War II, they had a lot of fear over there, and a lot of German officers, German engineers were also very working with Pahlavi and very close ally with him. So they fear that these people might be a spy to the Nazi German. And so because of all these conflict, Pahlavi had to, Raza Shah Pahlavi had to step down, and his son Muhammad Raza Shah Pahlavi resumed the throne. So at that point of time, even though Muhammad Raza Shah Pahlavi assumed the throne, he did not have the power, or he was not symbolic power politically. He was not structured politically, and there was a democratically elected minister called Muhammad Mossadegh. Muhammad was a democratically elected prime minister who nationalized the oil company. Now the British had a major stake in this oil company. Now what happened was that when he nationalized the oil company, the British feared that, oh no, yeah, that is going to be a great cause of concern, because they feared that they might lose the power, they might lose a share of profit. So what they did, along with the USA, they planned something with their intelligence, and then they started doing a negative PR, did some wrong reporting about this Mossadegh, like his government, and wrote wrong news, created a false information about him, and finally he was overthrown, and Muhammad Raza Shah Pahlavi was brought into power with Western-backed ally. Now this is again a pioneering force for the Iran revolution of what we see later. Now let's talk about Muhammad Pahlavi's rule. So under Muhammad Shah Pahlavi, Iran was a very different country from what we see today, right? Back then, Iran was very much a country which was very progressive. Muhammad Raza Shah Pahlavi introduced the concept of white revolution. White revolution is a concept where there was land reforms, where lands were equally distributed among the peasants. There was women's were given the equal access to voting rights, and they had participated in the public judgment and the presentation. And of course, there was industrialization, there was profit sharing, and there was a lot of growth. That Iran was one of the top leaders in the global economy itself. It was very good, very in terms of a lot of infrastructure also. It was building itself so good, and Iran was developing so well. But again, things were not the same, because the white revolution obviously had a lot of negative sides to it, because there was a large disparity between the rich and the poor. The gap had widened, and of course a lot of ethnic Islam, the people were unhappy with the lot of reforms what Pahlavi had brought. Plus Pahlavi has also had his own group called the Sawak, which was something similar to the Western CIA, that is the American agency. It was a intelligence force. So where they opposed anyone who oppressed or who went against the Pahlavi government. So he was a very dictator. He became a very dictator sort of a ruler, and he cut out all the information about whatever was against him. Now here comes the main person. That is, people were so unhappy, and one of the pioneer here who fought for this was what we know today as the supreme leader, the late Ayatollah Khamenei. Now Ayatollah Khamenei, before he was a supreme leader, he was a protest who protested against the Pahlavi government, who protested and spoke against his Pahlavi, and because of which he had to exile to France in 1964. But however, he did not stop there. Even though, despite the fact that he was exiled, he continued to propagate messages and influence people out there to retaliate against the Pahlavi government, and he kept sending on messages. He influenced a lot of people. He used to send the audio messages. He used to send the messages to the people through the radio, audio tapings and clippings, and he influenced a lot of people. And finally, what happened? Pahlavi was overthrown. Ayatollah Khamenei was brought back to Iran, and he became the supreme leader. Now, by 1979, he became the first supreme leader. That is a position given to the ultimate authority. So that is what we know about the history. This is the brief history of Iran. Now in the next part, let's look at the brief history of Israel and how this connected to the war. I hope you liked my information. So do subscribe to my channel, and let's wait for more updates. And if there are information that you would like to add on, please do let me know in the comment section. Thank you.